Throwing the alley-oop, and Kennedy with authority. Sloan in the corner for the win. Oh! Is it to Johnson for three?
We're at the home of the Eagles tonight, and a win is crucial for Newcastle if they're going to have any hope of reaching the playoffs. But they're going to have to be at their very best against the brand new trophy champs. Very good evening to you. It is a sold-out Virtue Motors Arena once again. The fans here in Newcastle, well, they love their basketball, even if their team is struggling on the court by their high standards. What a game we have in store. Mike Tuck, Kieran Achara, great to see you both. And let's put it simply, straight off the bat, Mike, it's win or bust for Newcastle tonight, isn't it?
You said it right there. You know, must win here in Newcastle. The black and white flags are going to be out. Now, is it post-game? Are they still going to be black and white, or are they going to be all white and surrender? Who knows?
He's on fire from the get-go, Kieran.
Ouch. Ouch.
It is inconceivable, isn't it, that a franchise with this much success in its past could miss out on the playoffs for 2 years in a row.
I said this last year, I could not believe that they wouldn't make it post-season and they could repeat that. It's just not been going their way in the last couple of seasons since Drew Lasker left
exactly.
the side.
Those two things are not coincidental. The Caledonia Gladiators coming into this game very much with their tails up, rolling into the playoffs because they've got a guaranteed playoff spot. Looking very, very strong indeed. They're going to be a dangerous proposition in the postseason, aren't they?
Definitely. You know, Coach Gareth Murray has really stepped up from player coach to coach and has them firing on all cylinders.
Well, whatever happens to Caledonia in the playoffs this season undoubtedly will be remembered as an unqualified success, landing their first silverware for 20 years. And we figured, seeing as Drew, we're missing Drew, of course, not in the building tonight. Every time Drew's on the show, particularly when we're in Newcastle, he likes to roll out footage of Newcastle winning things. We thought we'd redress the balance a little bit and show you this again, Kieran, because I bet you're never going to get tired of watching this. You know, we go out in Sheffield with Mike Tuck, and everywhere we go, drinks are on the house. Is that basically David Sloan now in Glasgow after this shot?
He is the last king of Scotland, David Sloan, making the big shots. You know, you're right, Mike Tuck, when he's in town, when we're in Sheffield, we get looked after. Sloan's your man.
You were so tight with Gareth Murray, you know him so well, Kieran. How much has that win meant to him after a difficult start to his coaching career?
You know, the elephant in the room was that, you know, the Rocks, Gladiators, Gareth Murray, always lost in finals. So getting that momentum, getting a big win under his belt to start off with, I think great for his confidence, and he will continue to improve.
And for all this talk of the BBL being top-heavy, London dominating things, Leicester always there or thereabouts, it's an exciting time right now. Sheffield developing a brand new arena, Bristol, of course, Caledonia, a franchise on the up and up. It seems much more of a level playing field than some people might be suggesting.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people talk about the 90s being the golden era of the BBL, but for me, this seems like the golden era. There's so many exciting things going on, so many teams moving into their own venues, so much more attention coming towards this league. It's an exciting time to be involved.
Well, speaking of attention, let's turn our focus on to the BBL Championship and in particular the playoffs, because of course London locked down the title a couple of weeks back. The Gladiators, as we said, on a roll, 4 wins on the bounce, and they are looking to lock up that top 4 finish. Leicester and Bristol, they are in a tight battle for the second seed. Everyone down to the Sharks in 7th place have their playoff spots confirmed. So there's only one spot still to play for, and it is the Patriots in the box seat. Plymouth currently 6 points ahead of the Eagles, who have only secured 1 win in their last 8. But there is hope for Newcastle, because it's hard to see where Plymouth could get another victory before the two face each other in the last game of the season on the 23rd, which may end up being a play-in game. But before we even get there, Newcastle have to run the table if they're going to have any hope, and they've got 2 games against Caledonia. So looking at all that and weighing it all up, Kieran, do you think there's more riding on tonight's game for Newcastle than Caledonia? How motivated are Caledonia going to be to get that 4th spot?
Well, you know, Newcastle Eagles has always been the bogey team for this franchise, and the Gladiators Rocks, you know. So for them, winning here is a big win. But it's a tough win. You know, it's a really hard crowd to play in front of as well. So it should be a really entertaining game.
If they have a fast start as well, you know this crowd is going to be up and bring their team up. Let's take a look at this Newcastle roster in a bit more detail and work out who is likely to get it done for them tonight, because you look at the names here: Kyle Johnson, Javion Hamlet, there's so much talent here. You scratch your head and work out, when you look at them in 9th spot at the moment, how they've got here with this talent.
Yeah, I mean, individual talent, Kyle Johnson, Hamlet, Kennedy, you've got a veteran, Defoe, Gordon. There's so many good individual players there, but they haven't found a way to put it together. And a lot of slow starts in games have had them fighting from behind. They need to find a way to start the game better.
Coach Mark Studel in his first year here in Newcastle, a highly regarded coach, of course, in the game, but finding things difficult at the moment. If he's going to get his team out of a jam, well, then JB Hamlet, who is the only player in the BBL averaging 20 points per game, if they are going to win out and get into the mix, it's essential, Mike, that he's on point.
Yeah, definitely. And this is a guy that sat out for 3 weeks and then just came back recently, played a full 40 minutes in his first game back. So they're putting a lot of weight on his shoulders. But this is a team that struggles to put the ball in the basket. And they need scorers out there. And Hamlet is that guy. Bringing in David Cohn halfway through the season, kind of took the ball out of Hamlet's hand and turned him into a secondary guard and a more of a scoring position. And the one thing I think about, when I think about Hamlet is tricky. He is a hard guard to stay in front of.
Kyle Johnson, a player, of course, Kieran, you know incredibly well. A really experienced vet. We mentioned Darius Defoe as well. So how key is that veteran savvy going to be in a situation like this?
I think he'll be motivated. He has to find a way to kind of rile the troops and get them really going. David
Cohn, a player that Mike just mentioned, brought in over 200 assists this season, which is over 6 a game. Good numbers when you look at the box score from a floor general. But do you feel that he imposes himself enough on a game?
I think he's been too inconsistent, and I think, a lot at times he lets the referees affect him. It's a physical game.
Okay, that's Newcastle then, and 3 of the key protagonists that could be significant tonight. What about Caledonia? Another roster absolutely stacked with talent. We know all about David Sloan. We just saw his buzzer beater trophy win. He's been in exceptional form for so much of the season. They're missing a couple of key players tonight, including Patrick Tape and Ali Fraser as well. So they're a little bit short-stacked coming in to tonight's game. Gareth Murray now solely concentrating on his coaching after his first 2 seasons as a player coach here in Caledonia. Al Durham, let's start with him. He's been shooting the ball so well, in the top 10 in the BBL in terms of points per game. He's an exceptional form kid.
He's been a great addition to this team. He came late, but he's gelled straight from the jump. Shows a great leadership traits, but shooting the ball with extreme confidence.
Jeremiah Bailey, only Taj Green of the Giants, Mike, has picked up more boards than this man this season.
Yeah, I mean, he's an aggressive player and the MVP of the trophy final game. A huge addition for the Gladiators this season.
And Barry Aliodzic, who is, I think it's fair to say, was a high-profile signing when he came in at the start of the year. And Kieran, he's lived up to that billing, hasn't he?
Definitely lived up to the billing. Again, a great leader. Gelled from the start, but brings that area of physicality to this team that was much needed.
Okay, 3 key players for the Gladiators. Let's hear from the 2 men calling the shots tonight. Gareth Murray and Coach Mark Studel. Mike caught up with him a little bit earlier on.
Coach Studel, it's been a difficult season. What's your assessment?
Difficult, inconsistent, challenging, difficult. Wasn't what, we envisaged. However, I think it probably shows the quality of the league, the personnel, the coaching, the quality of gameplay every night. I know I've learned an awful lot. Our group has, had some different faces at times, and that caused some challenges with some consistency. But yeah, I think it's been a difficult season. I don't shy away from that. I think I carry that more than most. So have to try and find a way to turn that on its head and, look positive over the last 4 games of the regular season.
And you got to find a way to win tonight, a must-win situation. What's your message been to the players?
Yeah, I mean, I think trying to control what we can. We've felt like that over the last, the recent games. We've tried to, develop a mindset of having... when we look back, it was 8 championship games is kind of the mindset that we had. And, we haven't had the outcome over the last few that we wanted. So the opportunity is still there, albeit not fully in our hands. So we need to make sure that we control what's in front of us. And what's in front of us is a talented Caledonia team. We put the work in, and we have to try and trust our work. We've put that in. Our group has played some very good basketball at times and some inconsistent basketball at times. So we need to make sure that tonight we're the best version of ourselves over 40 minutes.
Coach, have you come down yet from the highs of the trophy final?
A little bit, yeah. Still, obviously, it's a great thing for the club, for the players that were involved in it. The whole day, the whole event, the winning on the buzzer, obviously, was a huge thing for us. But yeah, we're back into league play now. We're really focused on getting that 4th place.
And what about this title? How does that add to the excitement that's surrounding this club right now?
Yeah, it's perfect. I know there was a lot of excitement going into the final. Of us making the final in Glasgow, the announcement of the arena to win it in Glasgow, the way it was won as well was a huge thing for everybody.
And obviously it's the playoff push right now, and you talked about finishing in the top 4, but what else is on your guys' mindset?
We want to make that playoff final also. I know right now we're trying to play consistently good basketball. It's week in, week out, and we've got some tough games. Newcastle here tonight, which is going to be not an easy game. They're playing good basketball. It's their last possibly league game of the season at home. So for us it's about being consistent, getting a little bit of momentum going into the playoffs.
Yeah, and with the trophy in the bag already, do you feel like anything's achievable for this club?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've got big plans, we've got big ambitions for the club. Winning the trophy was a huge thing for us. We want to finish top 4, but we also want to get to that playoff final in May. So right now it's just about trying to finish off the season well. We've got a couple of injuries that we're trying to deal with, but it's about getting momentum going into that playoffs.
Coach, good luck tonight.
Thank you.
I mentioned at the top of the show, and you can see it behind me, the Eagles fans here are as loyal and as basketball literate as it comes in the BBL, and they know how much is riding on tonight's game. And it's interesting, Kieran, hearing Coach Strukel there, because as I said earlier, he's a highly regarded coach, but obviously things haven't gone right for him this season. So they back him, whatever happens. They go with continuity, or is his job in jeopardy?
I think, it's professional sport now. You never know what's going to happen, but I genuinely believe they should back him. But at the same time, ask the questions. You have to take some accountability for so many changes this season. They really have to step up, make sure they ramp up. He's not going to repeat those same mistakes next season.
Yeah, even by BBL standards, the flux has been significant here. Let's look at some of the team head-to-heads in our team comparison. It's really interesting when you look at Caledonia's offense, in particular, points in the paint and fast break points, Mike. First in the BBL in both of those categories. What balance that is.
Yeah, I mean, they're a team that like to get out on that break. They like to push the ball as quick as possible. They've got guys leaking out, but then the points in the paint as well. They get points in transition in the paint, but they also throw the ball down low to their big men, and Ali Hodgett's obviously a big part of that in the last few games.
All right, then, we are getting close to tip-off here in Newcastle. It feels essential that the Eagles have a fast start, get their confidence growing. That will definitely get these fans behind them if they do. Crunch time for Newcastle, and tip-off is coming next.
Cone for 3. Got it! What a shot! Sloan quickly back the other way, through the contact!
dangerous men in the BBL, and a game like this, he can really excel. Ali Hodges has a really big role here just because he's 6'10", he's strong, and they're missing Patrick Tepe, another 6'10" big. So Ali Hodges, a lot more emphasis is going to be placed on his performance tonight.
Well, the two teams out on court. Gareth Murray just getting a little early word in with the officials. So 3 officials for tonight's game, very experienced crew as well. Third team on the court, we're ready to go here. A must win for the Newcastle Eagles. Their final home game of the regular season. Is it their final home game of the season? They'll be hoping not, as Caledonia get things underway. Pass a little low for Jimenez. Shot clock getting low as well, but it's stolen away by Gordon.
Well, there was a tentative offense there from Gladiators, not really much movement or aggressive nature towards the rim, and it's a relatively comfortable stop there for the Eagles.
Here's Johnson. Back to Gordon at the free throw line, and a long way short on that one.
And they're going to look for Justin Gordon as well. Remember, he's played, it's his 3rd season now in the BBL, so he understands the magnitude of making these playoffs.
They almost got another steal there. Here's Sloan. Around the corner pass, a little behind Ali Hodges. Gets 2 guys up in the air. And there's a foul on the rebound. Jeremiah Bailey committing it. Mike Tucker's joined us in commentary. Mike, a big game. You talked about the crowd. It's so important that Newcastle get off to a good start here, get the crowd up, get the atmosphere going.
Yeah, it's funny because I obviously interviewed David Cohn before the game, and he was talking about the crowd here, the fan base here, how they're so good, but also how other teams get up to play here because of the atmosphere. So sold out crowd here, must win for the Eagles, but also a derby game.
Oh, what a block from Sloan, throwing that one out.
Wow, we usually comment on his creativity from the offensive end, but this time coming up with a big play on the defensive end, because we've seen those shots automatic from Hamlet when he gets in there. Those are the bottom of the net.
6th block of the season, but it's probably the most spectacular one he's had. Oh, Bailey couldn't quite hang on to that. Managed to throw it off the rim, but Newcastle get it back.
Oh, that was an ambitious attempt if it was a tough finish there.
Hamlet can convert. A couple minutes in. We're not at St James's Park, but it's still 0-0. Jimenez gets the scoreboard ticket.
What a pass there from David Sloan. The presence of mind to find Jimenez in the corner. Wide open for the 3. Great shot.
It is very loud in here. You can feel that right from the opening tip. The Eagles yet to get on the ball.
Oh, it's a good sign. It's a missed shot.
Good sign there. They've gone up with a couple of steals. Hamler off to Gordon, and he's fouled. He will go to the line for a bonus.
It's a really nice play there. The penetration comes in. You see Justin Gordon there just spying on that baseline. And you see that explosive move towards the basket there. Comfortable and one finish for him.
And a good play to get them on the board there. Eagles doing a great job of finding the holes in the defense after that turnover.
Justin Gordon, someone who's won a British basketball playoff before, let alone not made the playoffs. Of course, he was part of the team last year that came up short, so certainly some unfinished business for him.
Here's Sloan. Ali Hodges has good position if you can get the ball down to him. 5 on the shot clock. Ali Hodges trying to use his strength, using his footwork as well for the finish. Great play, took his time, but a great execution.
That's just 2 big monsters going at it there, and it's Ali Hodges that comes out on top this time. Good patience there and then strength to finish.
Well, the one thing you would say about French in his time in the BBL is he has made full use of his fouls, put it that way. He averages 3.4 a game, which means more often than not he's in foul trouble at some point. They can afford early ones against him. Here's Johnson along the baseline, out to French. He's trying to get it back against Ali Hodges, and he does.
Great take there from the big man French, taking his time a little bit, using his size to back down the big Pharaoh Ali Hodges.
Sloan off the iron, and French getting to the ball first.
And that's what he does really good job at. French is rebounding the basketball, over 9 rebounds a game.
Nice from Hamlet, going right through the middle.
That is beautiful body control there, and excellent soft touch with a left-hand finish from Hamlet.
Bailey going the long way round off the mark. Hamlet, little floater, very good at all types of different shots in the key.
That's why he scores 20 points a game, just because as soon as he gets in those areas, he's got this high arcing floater shot, and he has an incredibly high percentage rate.
Jimenez trying the behind the head pass. Almost came off. Thank you. Before being deflected away. Durham's going to come into the game for the first time, replacing Onwas.
And this is the advantage to Caledonia, their bench. You know, Newcastle Eagles, one of the poorest production off the bench. And you've got Al Durham now coming off the bench from Caledonia, who's averaging 17 points a game by himself.
Jimenez taken it to the rim and cleaned up by Ali Hodges. You talk about Durham, he doesn't start many games. He sure finishes a lot. He's that good.
Yeah, I think that's what you need sometimes. You need that sixth man. You need that energy off the bench. It can be a game changer in tight situations.
Hamlet rearranges it. Nobody went for the rebound initially. Slow speed in transition. And the foul is called on Hamlet.
Well, good decision there from David Sloan. As soon as he got possession of the basketball, he's pushing the ball. Tough call from Hamlet there. Didn't look to be a foul to me, but David Sloan doing the right thing as the point guard, pushing the basketball and trying to exploit Newcastle before they set up.
How fast is this Caledonia team? Any opportunity they have to push the ball, they're taking it.
Well, thrown away, straight to Cone. Gordon fakes the three, takes it to the basket. What a finish from Justin Gordon.
Excellent decision to turn down that three-point shot. Instead, he attacks the rim with such aggression. Left-hand finish, second and one play at a day already for Justin Gordon.
And he's one of those players here for the Eagles that needs to step up today. You know, we know he's a great individual talent. We know he can put the ball in the basket. He's proved it before. Tonight's his night, and he needs to step up.
There's a second foul on French, and he's going to have to sit down. Defoe is walking to the bench, the subs bench already. I think he was going to come out as it was, but he's definitely going to have to now.
Well, you caught it, Dan. It's always the worry, isn't it, when you pick up that early foul and you're someone that averages 3.4 fouls a game. It's always, you're always on the fringes, and maybe he was a couple seconds away from being substituted anyway, but sometimes it's just how it works out.
My thing is, if you're French, you've got to know, I got to stay in the game for my team, especially last home game of the season. You know, the season is on the line right now. I can't pick up any ticky-tack ones like that.
I agree, and he's not what you call a natural scorer, but he brings so much value to the team across the board. Defense, rebounding, block shots, it's a block and a half a game he averages, so he adds value to the team in other areas. Unfortunately, he's also high in the foul category. But But you're right, when you look at these little factors too, when you're 8 and 24, these are the compounding things that add to why you're in that predicament.
Yeah, we're in April right now. You gotta start figuring these things out down the line, and that, a couple of cracks showing in why this Newcastle team has struggled this season.
Well, I've watched all of Newcastle's games this year. The one thing you would say is for long periods, Kyle takes it to the back, for long periods of lots of games, they're right there. And often it's execution at the end, or they have a 2 or 3 minute spell at some point where they get double figures down, and that is the difference between 8 wins and 14 wins, and you're somewhere in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, completely agree. And I think there's been a lot of games where they've started off extremely slow, digging a hole for themselves, and that comes down to, you know, slow starts, intensity, execution, those little things that don't turn on for them until maybe the second quarter.
Well, was it last week against your Sharks? They were just terrible for the first 12 minutes, tried to drag themselves out of it, but Sheffield were too comfortable by that point.
Yeah, but they did make it a game in that second half, and you think if they didn't draw such a big hole in that first half, it would have been a better game for them. Thankfully not, though, Dan.
Yeah, indeed. Here's Durham. Getting back to Ali Hodges, who's all on his own for the mid-range, doesn't go. It's quite a pace to this game. Here's Cohen for 3. A little short. Nobody in there for the offensive rebound, so an easy board for Caledonia.
I think this is a pace that Caledonia is definitely used to. They're comfortable with, whereas Newcastle maybe not as comfortable.
Malcolm kicks out to the corner and Sloan off the ball. Kennedy spinning but gets too far underneath. They're all on the floor. Away comes Sloan. Sloan faking the pass. Can't convert. Hamlet getting past the defender, doesn't get the roll. Defoe on the offensive rebound. He can't convert. Caledonia get it back.
Wow, erratic sequence of events here in this game. Back and forth, but both teams coming off empty on a number of occasions.
That one is knocked down by Sloan at the top of the kit.
When all else fails, just shoot the ball. Sloan, great little pop shot from the middle.
Down low to Defoe. He's going to try his luck against Ali Hodges. To the fall away. Caledonia come away with it. Sloan back to Ali Hodges on the trail. And the foul is called on Darius Defoe, who's got his hand up to admit to that one. I haven't seen that too many times over the last 19 years.
Well, the clear and obvious ones, you gotta put your hand up every once in a while. And that bump that David Sloan got, that could have been called a foul. That actually helped Caledonia because it sort of given them a turbo jet into the key, and the dump down to Ali Hodges, who was trailing.
Moses splitting the sea there.
Well, Caledonia are not quite a lot for top 4, but it'd be a real surprise if they don't make it, because they've got the head-to-head with all the teams behind them in the table, and they've got more wins, and they've got a game in hand. But the one thing you would say heading into the playoffs, their away form has not been great this year. They have the worst away record of any team in the playoff places. 5 wins and 12 defeats on the road. But at home, they're pretty good. And obviously in a 2-leg situation, all you got to do is be slightly better at home than you are away.
Yeah, definitely. You want to build that lead at home as big as you can. Speaking of that, I believe Caledonia have won their last 3 away games.
Laid in there to the basket. They are a team that are finding form at exactly the right time. That's for certain.
Justin Gordon on a tear, though. You can tell he's got an aggressive mentality. 9 points personal for him now. He's carrying his team.
Knocked away by Kennedy. Here's Defoe. Defoe taking it to the rim. Oh, Justin Gordon with the throwdown.
Who else? Justin Gordon leading the way for the Newcastle Newcastle Eagles. That's 11 points personal for him now. And he looks like the best Gordon we've seen throughout the years.
Omwas doesn't go. Gordon is just slowed a little bit. Here's Cohen running forward. Something's wrong with Gordon at the other end of the floor, so Newcastle only have 4. Here he comes. In the corner. Kennedy doesn't knock it down. Gordon seems to have recovered from whatever it was. Durham's going to test him out by going right at him.
Wow, what a take from Durham there. Downhill towards the basket. Great little layup. Durham in fine form recently.
Well, it's going to be an obvious statement here for me, but if Newcastle Eagles miss shots or turn the ball over, they're in big trouble this evening. Caledonia are so good at pushing the basketball down the other end of the floor. There was a missed shot on the play before. In a matter of seconds, Al Durham is laying the ball up with very little resistance.
Justin Gordon there, looks a little bit, he looks gassed and looks like he's done something to his leg there, but what a start to the game this guy's had. And on a team full of a lot of individual talent, it's hard sometimes for teams like that to kind of figure it out because there's so many options. But Justin Gordon's made his mark early. He stepped up, said, I'm going to be the guy today.
Well, here they come quickly again, Caledonia. Durham trying to put that back. And to the point you made, they're second in the league in points off turnovers, are number 1 in the league in fast break points. This is a team you have to stop getting running. Part of that is put the ball in the basket, make them take the ball through the net and inbound the ball.
And Newcastle Eagles haven't been the most convincing team in the half-court set, let alone transition defense. So this is a real area of weakness for the Eagles. The best advice for them is to make shots and get back as quickly as possible, because Caledonia will be the best you'll see this year at executing on the offensive transition.
Definitely. They are relentless. Guards are leaking out every time. You've got to get back to that paint. Protect the paint, but also get a man on the ball. Slow the ball down from the get-go.
It's a 1-point game in a quarter that's fairly flown by here in Newcastle. Caledonia with the lead. Defoe fighting his way through the key, and he's drawn a foul from Omwas.
It's a vet call right there. Ant used to get a couple of those.
Well, we can all identify those, especially with number 13 there wearing the Eagles jersey. We've had a couple of those suspicious ones called against us, Dan, actually. Me and Mike Tucker over there.
I'm sure you have. Omwas is second, by the way. Ubiara driving through, loses it off his own leg. Omwas is still chuntering away about that last call.
Mike used to foul a lot. I'm sure that he needs the Sharks' history of fouls as well. He used to.
I don't know what you're talking about or who you're talking about.
I'd get involved in that, but there's 13 seconds left in the quarter. Here's Durham driving into the finger roll, high off the glass. Is there time for Newcastle to get one more off here? Ubiara going quick. Ubiara too strong off the glass. And we've reached the end of the opening quarter here in Newcastle. Again, the Eagles have to win. And it's Gareth Murray and the Gladiators who lead at the end of the first quarter. 17-20 in favor of Caledonia. We'll be back with the second quarter right after this break. Welcome back to Newcastle, where the Eagles will get us underway here in the second quarter, trailing by a basket.
We're back to the action on court, so let's get behind your Eagles.
Here's the first. Kicks it back out to Kennedy. Shot clock down to 5. Not a lot going on here. Hamlet having to work and gets nothing.
It was one of those offenses that was really poor, lack of movement there. The ball just stayed over that side of the court between 2 or 3 players. It didn't deserve a basket and made things really difficult for Hamlet to get that one off there contested.
Ooh, Kennedy just getting there in time. Almost was open under the basket. Johnson can't convert. Bailey with the rebound. Here's Onwas into the key and tosses it in.
Great little play there from Onwas. He's been such a glue guy for this team here. Always seems to make the right decision. Great little pop shot from him in the middle there.
Here's Defoe. Running through. It's an offensive foul on Darius Defoe. He's pleading his innocence, but that's going to be his second foul.
Good defensive play there from Jeremiah Bailey. If you notice, Onwas isn't guarding Defoe. It's actually Bailey who's given up a good 3 or 4 inches, but on that occasion, Bailey gets to that spot, sells it, and the referee calls the offensive foul, excuse me.
And the Eagles got to be careful here. You know, Defoe on 2, French on 2. Justin Gordon with a slight injury on the bench. Could start looking very thin on the interior pretty soon.
Bunyan wide open. Onwas on the offense. Oh, he blows the layup. That's another go at it. Durham fires up the 3 and knocks it down. And 2 minutes into the second quarter, Caledonia lead the Newcastle Eagles by 5 here. And timeout is being called by Coach Mark Stoogle. Before the game, Mike Tuck caught up with David Curry.
Mr. Cohn, a man in form, how happy are you with your game right now?
Well, mostly happy. Unfortunately, it hasn't translated into the team wins like I would like. So there's still, lots of room to get better and lots of room to improve and hopefully make it translate to wins, because that's the bottom line.
Speaking of improving, in your mind, what has been the team's biggest problems this season?
It's really hard to put your finger on it. So I don't know. That's a tricky one. I think we're all trying to figure through it and get better day by day and look forward to the next game, and hopefully, the switch flips.
And what's the mindset in the locker room recently? Is there still things to play for?
Honestly, yes, of course. Technically, we still have a chance of making the playoffs. So, we have a really positive group of guys who are still confident, and everyone's really good teammates. So it's still been a joy to go to work every day, and you can hear it in there. The vibes are good, and we just hopefully we'll carry it onto the court tonight. Get it done.
And speaking of here tonight, how do you like this matchup against the Gladiators?
So we actually match up pretty well with them. The games have been good so far this year. We beat them a few months ago at home. It was a high-scoring game. So they have a lot of good players, though. They got a lot of talent. So we got to focus on stopping them in the open court and getting the necessary stops on the stretch.
Good luck tonight, buddy.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Well, Kennedy misses the 3. They need some good vibes out on the court right now, the Newcastle Eagles, because this one's starting to get away from them.
Well, and that's not going to get it done. As soon as they miss a shot there, as you can see, the leading team in the league of fast breaks punishes them again with another layup on the other end of the floor.
Here's French inside, overcooks the hook. The offense is suddenly disintegrating.
And that's the thing for me is like when you're in a little bit of a lull and you need a good basket, your shot selection has to be better than that.
Yes.
You can't just settle for just a random three or just the first shot on the post that you can get. You've got to execute those situations.
What a block! The shot not reset, and Durham hits the three.
Wow, it's an incredible defensive play there for Jamel Kennedy, but the persistence of the Caledonia Gladiators, the ball drops to Al Durham, one of the highest players in the league, and he knocks it down.
That one was from NBA range. What a shot. That's two crucial threes for Durham.
The Eagles have finally got a bucket on the board here in the second quarter. First 10 points going against them.
It's a big one. It's Cole Johnson's first 2 points, and that's the worry. When you have a guy like Justin Gordon who blitzes the offense, he's got 11 points. There's no one else there that came to the party so far, so you need the other players on your team to step up, and you need to do it quickly. Well, this game's going to get away.
Ali Hodgins inside, he'll get away if you keep letting them dunk it like that.
What a pass from Johnny Bunyan there. Great little drive down the baseline. Drew the defense. Big pass to Farrell for a huge dunk.
Johnson mid-range off the mark. Bunyan comes down with the loose ball. Quickly out to Malcolm. On the trail is Onwas, and he lays it in.
So dangerous at pushing the basketball, and you see how disorganized Newcastle Eagles are. You stop the initial ball, but then there's nothing else. There's no major resistance inside, and Onwas pretty much walked that basketball through the hoop.
8 points and 4 rebounds already for Faro Alihodzic, and he spoke to Mike before the game.
Farrell, some big performances. Sorry, one more time. Farrell, some big performances recently. You happy where your game's at?
I'm just happy that I'm, doing what I can for the club. We're down 2 guys in the same position, so I've just got to have to step up and do what I have to do for the second half of this season and finish strong. That's the main goal.
And after the highs of the trophy final, what's been the focus in the locker room?
We're just focused on finishing in the top 4. That's been our goal, and that's what I've been told before I got here. So that's been our goal, to finish in the top 4. And we're there right now, and it's in our hands. And we've got a few games to go, and hopefully we reach that goal.
And how important is it to enter the playoffs on a roll? And how far do you think you guys can go in the playoffs?
I think it's unpredictable in the playoffs. Anybody can beat anybody. So as long as we finish with the home advantage, finishing 4th place is going to give us a good chance in the next rounds.
And what about tonight? Let's talk about tonight. How do you like this matchup with the Eagles?
The Eagles, they got a lot of good individual players. They're playing at home. It's their last home game. It's going to be a difficult game for us. It's also a local rivalry. So we got to be there. We got to battle. We got to try and get this win for us.
Good luck tonight, big man.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome.
Well, he's played his part in this 14-2 start to the second quarter, which has seen Caledonia leap out to a 34-19 lead. And the Eagles got in response. Cohen at the top of the game.
That's a good response out of the timeout, and David Cohen is someone that they've asked questions. They've asked more of him just because he has that ability to change a game and turn it on its head.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think if they are going to stand a chance, they need guys like that to stop being as passive and start being more aggressive.
Sloan for 3, overcooks it, but it came off Gordon on... Oh, no. Well, Gordon's reaction implied it came off him, but it's going to be a Newcastle ball.
Well, the referee not going off reactions, Dan, because I was in the same thinking as you. And we'll see how Justin Gordon's health is as well. Obviously, he left the game there after blitz of a start. 11 points personal already for him.
Johnson in the corner misses the 3. Sloan's pass had a little too much zip on that and out of bounds.
And that's the double-edged sword. When you play that up and down, that fast break basketball, you have to be willing to give up some turnovers and plays like that. But how quickly does that ball fly up the court for this Caledonian team? What a tough type of play to defend.
Scarily quick is the answer to that question.
Yeah.
Good hands from Bailey to rip that away. Durham. Well, he's got the freedom of Virtuoso's arena there with the layup.
And that's the problem. And you want Hassan France to come over there and challenge the shot, but of course he's on 2 fouls and he wasn't even looking at the ball on that occasion. But that's another plus. When you push the basketball, if you don't get anything initially, you've got so much more time on the shot clock.
Can't got too far underneath, hit the bottom of the board with that. Durham for 3 off the mark. Gordon into the key for 2.
The big man coming back off the bench after that first quarter injury, but picking up where he left off. Great little take, Euro step with the left-hand finish.
Sloan and Cone battling.
Sloan and Cone.
Foul is scored against the Newcastle man. Newcastle making substitutions with Mockford and Cone sitting down. And Kennedy and Hamlet checking in.
Didn't know you were a rapper, Dan.
It's been a long time. Ali Hodzic out on the 3-point line. French on his back, sizing up the matchup again. And winning the battle again.
Wow. Farrell Ali Hodzic has been so efficient. That's 10 points personal for him now. Such a controlled move.
Love his energy right now, beating his chest as he's running back down the court.
Did somebody step in the bound? Did they step on the court?
Oh no, I think they
did. On the inbound. Gareth Murray, I must admit I wasn't looking at the ball at that point. But Gareth Murray was going nuts. The referee saw it, and it is a Caledonia ball, which I think means they, on the inbound, somebody stepped over the line before they inbounded the ball. That's a terrible mistake.
Play by the rules, guys.
Bailey in the corner. Ooh. Sloan is on the floor. He got landed on there. I think he's okay. But Newcastle have numbers as a result. And that's going to be a foul on Malcolm. Sloan is gingerly jogging back now.
It's an intelligent play from Malcolm, though. It was 4 on 5.
Well, Sloan is giving a thumbs up to the bench to say I'm okay, but Coach Murray had already called for the substitution. Let's have a look. He goes down and just gets landed on. That could have been a lot worse than it was.
Good to see Jamal Kennedy bounce right up there as well. He was the one who got most of that impact there on the floor.
Gordon along the baseline is able to force one home.
He's done been excellent on the baseline, isn't he? Excellent movement there, and the strength and athleticism as well to finish the basketball when you're underneath the goal.
Ali Hodzic looking for options. Takes it himself. There's an offensive foul there on Ali Hodzic. There.
Excellent call from the referee.
On the subject of fouls, we need to clean up on aisle row here, by the way, because Todd Cawthorne is by miles the Sheffield Sharks.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan.
Is that right?
It's not even close.
Shout out my guy, Todd.
You played more games than him. He's got like 180 more fouls than you.
Todd's more of an honest guy. Mike Tuck was more sneaky with it, you know. He got away with murder.
This guy sounds very salty, like maybe he was on the end of a few elbows or something. I don't know.
Durham called for the foul there. Sloan and Onwas return.
Oh, I like that foul from Al Durham, to be honest. I mean, Justin Gordon catching the ball that low, it's been automatic for him.
1:45 left in the first half. Can the Eagles get this back into single figures before the half? That will be the initial target. French going to the runner. He's denied by Bailey, and away come the Gladiators again. Oh, Sloan, what a shot.
3 seconds was taken off that shot clock after the amazing block there from Jeremiah Bailey.
There's Gordon, he almost loses it. Down to Hamlet for 3. French with the offensive rebound, nice pass.
Yeah, good second chance opportunity there, and Cole Johnson staying active. Nice pass there from French.
Stolen away. Sloppy pass really by Sloan. Gordon to the rim.
Top finish there, excellent use of his body and dragging the ball across the defender. Can't deflect it, and a nice left-hand finish again from Justin Gordon.
Well, big play here for Eagles. Stop and a score. Get it to 9. Durham trying to thread the needle. Who'd that touch last? It must have been Kennedy, because it's a Caledonia ball. It's only 2.8 on the shot clock. To Bailey. Does he see the clock? He does. He beats the buzzer, but he can't score. Shot clock is off. So they get the stop. Can they get the score? Hamlet to Gordon. The 3. In and out. And back in again.
Wow, what a finish. Good penetration there from Hamlet, who was almost going to take the shot, but instead he passed it to the hot hand. Justin Gordon with 20 points at halftime.
Well, it wasn't a good start to the second quarter, but it was a decent finish. They clawed their way back a little bit here, Newcastle, and with the friendliest of home court roles, they will head to the locker rooms. Only down 8. Could have been worse, Anne.
It could have been a lot worse, and what they were able to do there was put the ball in the hands of the guys that know how to put it in the basket, and Justin Gordon was able to carry them along there through 2 quarters. But good decision from Javion Hamlet there to get the defense to suck in that little bit there to pass on to Gordon, who's been devastating in this first half.
Well, let's have a look at the shooting numbers, and you can see they've dominated the rebound in Caledonia with 27 boards already, partly because Newcastle haven't shot the ball very well, but those numbers on the left-hand side are going to have to go up.
And the missed shots are the problem. 1 for 7 for the 3-point line. But the problem is not just the miss, Dan. It's what the Caledonia Gladiators do to you on the other end of the floor. In a matter of seconds, they're laying the basketball up because the defense aren't set.
Which is part of the reason why they're shooting the best part at 60% from 2-point range, because they get out and run and they make layups. And that is a key to keeping the scoreboard ticking over. Well, with 13 of those 40 points in the first half, Al Durham is with Mike.
Hey, you 8-point lead at half. How are you guys feeling? How'd that first half go for you guys?
Oh, man, we got out. We played defense. That was a big part of it. We rebounded, and we got out and ran. That's where our offense comes from, our defense. So I feel like we did a good part of that. We had a few, missed assignments and fast break and letting them get open shots. But I feel like for the most part, we did a good job.
Yeah, let's talk about the pace of the game. Obviously, you guys lead the league in fast break points. Yeah. But how much do you work on that going into this game?
Oh, man, we got a lot of players that can get out and run. And I think that's our identity. I think that's how we play, and that's how we like to play.
And let's talk about your performance in this first half here. 13 points, 4 rebounds. Did you feel like this is going to be a big game for you tonight?
Man, I just try to prepare every game like it's my last game, man. This is a blessing to get out here and play, so I prepare the same way for every game. And just tonight, my teammates are finding me and I'm hitting.
And the Eagles able to cut it back within 8 points here towards the end of that quarter. What are your plans for the second half?
Amp it up on defense. We amp it up on defense. We try to get out here and run them in their home crowd and get this home crowd out of it. I think we'll come out with a win.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
All right there, Newcastle started to claw their way back into the game at the end of that second half, which gives them hope. It's an 8-point deficit. We'll react to the first half after the break. Caledonia Gladiators, but then things started to unravel. Newcastle's defense struggling and not much offense going other than that man, Justin Gordon, with a sensational first half, 20 points, and he needed them because Al Durham and others hot from downtown. Although Newcastle scrapping their way at the end, ending up with 15 points in the second quarter and an 8-point deficit, which means it is very doable for Newcastle to get back into this game. And if you'd asked us that 3-4 minutes into that second quarter, we might have given you a different position. That is the story of the first half statistically. And Kieran Achara, we were talking about the rebound battle, and in particular what that screen doesn't tell you, but is scratched beneath the surface. Defensive rebounds, Caledonia absolutely dominating in Newcastle in terms of second chance points, not making the most of them.
Yeah, the Gladiators, 5 offensive rebounds in that first half, really going after it at the glass. And on the flip side, three from Newcastle, but they just are not attacking the glass that they need to. They're playing to survive right now. They have to start showing that.
In many ways, was that first half performance from Newcastle representative, indicative of their entire season?
It summed up for me. You know, I get to have a closer look at today, and you know, the second opportunities, they're not helping as much as they need to help. You know, they're letting people drive past them too easily, getting up middle drive. So it's been a really sloppy defensive effort from the Newcastle Eagles, and usually the focus is with their offense. When they're scoring the ball, everything else is masked, but defensively they've just not been in it. Making
it too easy for Caledonia, but Caledonia capitalising on those opportunities. Let's look at Al Durham, first of all, who was in red-hot form coming into this game and carried on where he left off, shooting 83% from the floor, 13 points, and lethal from downtown.
Lethal from downtown, from deep, just setting his feet, shooting with confidence. You know, at the start, he was always been able to drive to the basket, but look at this, so deep. holding his follow-through buckets.
Yeah, he was brilliant. As we expected, we also expected Farah Haliotic, who we said at the top was also a player coming into this game in a lot of form, and he really imposed his physicality in the first half.
Love that. I was seeing this as a key matchup, the Battle of the Bigs against French. Went right at him straight away, right through his chest, showing his versatility. Here, clean up the glass, everything. Just staying with it, staying with every single play. Here, lovely drop off in position at the dunker. Boom, throw it down, big fella.
It was the point we made, wasn't it? That they're great on fast break. They're strong in the paint as well. They've got Haliotic causing all kinds of trouble with his frame and physicality. A really balanced offense, Caledonia, demonstrating. We can't say the same for the Eagles, but undoubtedly the pick of the bunch and arguably the most impactful player on the court in the first half, Justin Gordon. 20 points for him, and of course, crucially, getting hot, particularly the end of that first half, to keep them in it.
Yeah, big shot at the end, but no, he's playing with, again, in this game, playing at home, playing with confidence. He's so athletic, so strong. When his shots drop, and he is a force to reckon with. So here, clean up the glass, look at that, finishing above the rim. You know, he's a hard player to stop.
So he's stepping up, 20 points, unsurprisingly the most of any player on the court, but too many of the other big Newcastle players not. Javion Hamlet, 4 points. Carl Johnson, 4 points. They need to step up.
They need to step up. I'm going to go back to basics once again. Forget about their offense. They really need to get a defensive presence. If they want to win this game, they're going to have to get stops, and that's a team effort. Like I said, team defensively right now for me, they're so out of range, no help. They really have to step that up if they want to win this game.
All right then, all to play for Newcastle in the second half. Now, as it's retro month in the BBL, we'll be doing this a lot this month at the halftime, taking a trip down memory lane, and today is no exception. We're going to go back to the 2006 playoff final because it featured these two teams. Of course, the Gladiators in those days, the Scottish Rocks. Title on the line, and for the Eagles, they were going for the clean sweep.
Newcastle Eagles against Scottish Rocks. It's the BBL Championship Playoff Final 2006. Sullivan inside again. Too easy for Andrew Sullivan. Newcastle on the break. Walker to the finger roll. Defoe with the tip home you wanted to see. Joseph for three. Oh, tough shot from Julius Joseph. Here's TJ out in the open floor. No stopping. Oh, and Flanoy stuffs it down. And the Newcastle Eagles are starting to come right back in this. Look at this follow from Flanoy. It's a 1-point game. To Phoenix. Phoenix spinning. Nice spin. Oh, what a move from Justin Phoenix. Flanoy driving in. Flanoy lays it in, and the Newcastle Eagles have turned this game around. They lead by 1. Can they do it? Locked up. Oh, beautiful alley-oop from Yanders to Bennett. Fab Flanoy gets it and stuffs it down, and that is almost the exclamation point on the victory. They are seconds away from doing it again. The clock is ticking down. Charles Smith points to the fans. The buzzer goes, and the Newcastle Eagles have dominated the British basketball season. They've won all 4 titles. They've beaten the Scottish Rocks here in the playoff finals, and there is no doubt this is easily the best team in the league this season.
Now, we gave you the Gladiators trophy win at the start of the game, so we thought we'd level things up for you by showing you that.
I will have to say, what a difference 17 years makes.
Well, you say that, but some things change, some things stay the same. Dan Routledge calling that game, as you will have appreciated. Dan, have you called every major game in the BBL over the last 30 years? It seems like you have.
Well, I can actually measure the time from that game in feet and inches, because my son was about 2 months old at the time. He's 6'2" now. But yes, it feels like every game, certainly.
And we saw Fab Flanoy there, now at the Raptors, of course, with Nick Nurse. His first sweep as player coach, and he achieved that 2 further successive campaigns, right? 2011 and 2015. Extraordinary stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the domination of the Newcastle Eagles under Fab Flanoy, absolutely incredible. Although he did have a pretty good player called Fab Flanoy on the court, which certainly helped.
And you have seen a fair few titles in your time. There was some pretty decent champagne action at the end there, I thought. Fab was pulling out of his eyes as he was celebrating. What is the key to celebrating a title win?
Oh, it's the hard work that goes into it before that. And that was such a early noughties thing, you know, just splashing everyone with champagne, drenching everyone. It was trend then, that. It was in trend.
Lovely stuff. Brilliant. And I love these trips down memory lane. More where that came from next week. Is there more where the end of the first half came from for the Eagles as they try and get their season on track at the depth? They will hope so. They will hope they can echo those last couple of minutes. They will need some of their big name players to step up, because at the moment they're in an 8-point hole, and if it stays the same, well, they're not going to be making the postseason. Second half is coming next. Nervous Newcastle Eagles fan base know they've got a big second half of basketball as far as their season is concerned. Let's get it underway, and we head back to Mike and Dan.
Thank you very much, Nat. Yes, it's basically last chance saloon here for Newcastle Eagles. It isn't over tonight if they lose, as long as Leicester beat Plymouth, which they are doing. However, it would mean they have to win at Caledonia, at London, and at Plymouth to see their way home, and still hope that Plymouth don't win another game in the meantime.
Well, it's a tall order, so I think to make life easier for them, they may as well just go ahead and win here this evening. But there's been some resistance from the Caledonia Gladiators, who have been that all-firing, fast break, pushing basketball team in the first half of this game.
There's Johnson. Back to Gordon. Shot clock getting low. Hamlet to French, gets it away and drops it in for two.
That's what you want. First offense of the half to settle you back into the game. They used a good 22 seconds of that shot clock and got Hassan French a floater.
Well, Almost doesn't normally miss open threes like that. There's a foul called by Johnson.
Well, I mentioned the battle of the boards in the favour of Caledonia Gladiators. Newcastle Eagles, if Caledonia miss shots, they've got to secure those rebounds, because second chance opportunities are going to arise of this very talented offensive team.
Well, they've already got 8 second chance points, Caledonia, off their 5 first half offensive rebounds. They've got their first offensive rebound of the second half. Shot clock needs to go up. Sloan gets it away, and he knocks it down. What a tough shot.
Beautiful shot there from Sloan. Like we said, when all else fails, let it fly.
Hamlet for 3, he strings it.
Confident reply there from Javion Hamlet, who's not accustomed to shooting the 3-ball, even though he averages 20 points a game. That's not his strength. He likes to get in the cracks and attack the rim, but comfortable looking 3-point shot there.
That's too easy. That's too easy. Almost down the lane for the finger roll.
On was really building momentum here in this second half. Great take from him, but yeah, much too easy. This Newcastle team has got to start playing some defense.
Well, that's a bit easy as well, as Hamlet replies.
But Caledonia can afford that, Dan. They're not the ones scrapping for survival in playoff basketball. This is where the mentality of the Eagles has to change.
That's off the foot of French. He'll put 1 second back on the shot clock.
Wrong sport.
Sloan, I think the French got a little piece of that, but Ali Hodgic gets the offensive rebound and spins beautifully for 2.
Wow. Amazing footwork from Farrell Ali Hodgic there. Able to pump fake, and then spin back for an easy left-hand finish.
Problem there is French is contesting the shot there, and great block from him, but no one's boxing out Ali Hodgic, who is having his way on the boards.
And Gordon continues his fine scoring spell.
He cannot miss. Look at this, comfortable pull-off, beautiful.
Sloan, 5 on the shot clock. He fires another 3, and he knocks it down again.
That just looks effortless there from Sloan. Great release on the ball and contested shot, big shot.
Hamlet is fouled. It's Ali Hodgic who's called for it.
I think Newcastle got a little fortunate there because the ball was ricocheting everywhere and shot clock winding down. You see Hamlet falling to the ground really with very limited contact. Those are one of those ones that you're grateful to hear the whistle because he had very little options.
Yeah, completely agree. I just felt like there was no rhythm on offense and got bailed out by the call at the last second there.
Well, it's the 3rd on Ali Hodgic. He's the only one in the game on 3. French, nice pass from Hamlet.
That's what you want. You want those high, efficient shots in the paint. Not something that Eagles consistently get, but if they can do that through French, it's a good source of offense for them.
Sloan dancing his way to the basket for another 2.
Battle of the guards here. Sloan really picking up momentum here early on going to the second half.
He's a guy you don't want to wake up. You know, David Sloan comes to the party as well. And Al Durham, of course, has got to make an appearance in this game sometime soon. It's a big problem to try and stop those 1-2 combos.
Well, a rare miss there from Gordon. Gets Caledonia the ball back. Bailey mid-range knocks it down.
Wow, great shot there. Little pull-up jumper. Was very fluid.
But there's very little resistance from the defense there. You know, Jeremiah Bailey is dribbling in his own pace and his own speed, and he's having a comfortable pull-up jump shot.
You said it right there. I mean, at this level, too, you can't let guys get to their spot and feel comfortable.
Well, Sloan got to his spot there, but that one bobbled out. Jimenez called for the foul. Newcastle making a change with Defoe and Kennedy coming in, and Gordon and Johnson sitting down. Here now is Durham entering the fray.
As those guys sub out, you see these big names from this Newcastle Eagles team. But do you think it's more of a lack of identity with this team?
I think so. We're at that point in the season as well where, you know, when you go on a losing streak, you've always got that motivation to turn it around. But now we're here in April, and it hasn't happened for them. And you know, it's not through lack of talent, and you know how it works. Like, you've won in this league before. You need a group of guys that are willing to sacrifice themselves for the greater good. And you know, that just hasn't worked for this Eagles team this year so far.
Shot needs to go up, and it goes up and goes in easy.
Great take there from Bailey. Like we said, you gave him an easy look early on. Let him get going.
And that's going to be foul number 3 on Darius Defoe, an offensive foul.
Just almost just being an intelligent basketball player. He recognizes that Darius Defoe's wanting to get to the rim. Just blocks the path there. Stood still. Nice and easy one for the referee there.
Well, 4 minutes and 21 seconds to go in the third quarter. They're only losing this period by 2, Newcastle. It's only a 10-point game, but it just feels like scoring is much easier for Caledonia than it is for Newcastle.
No, I certainly get that vibe through watching this basketball game. Newcastle Eagles having to work so hard while Caledonia getting what they want. But that's the one saving grace. Caledonia will be liable to turnovers, and if the Eagles can capitalize on that, that's a way to get back into this basketball game.
Well, they can on that occasion. Not a bad shot, though. Here's Durham. That's a very good shot for him. He just into the key. Thank you very much.
Wow, that was pretty. Durham taking his time, playing 2 speeds, switches it over to the right hand. Beautiful little teardrop floater.
He is a guy, Durham, when you watch it. He plays relatively quickly. Obviously, the team do, but he seems to almost be moving slower than everybody else. Or everybody else is at a... You know what I mean? He just seems comfortable in his pace.
Yeah, completely agree. Great balance to his game. You never feel like he's going too fast, too slow. He's always able to find that balance, change speeds on a dime, find his teammates. Great decision maker, makes the right play.
He never seems rushed in anything, even at pace. It's almost like everybody else, the game is slower to him. He can see it quicker. Tremendous player to watch, and a great addition they made midway through the season, adding him to the lineup.
Well, he's hit one from that spot before, and Javian Hamlet starting to feel pretty comfortable now. A second 3-point shot this evening.
14 points for Hamlet. Sloan is blocked by Cullen. And here comes Hamlet at speed. And he's fouled by Omwas.
Oh, it's that loud in here. I didn't hear the whistle. I thought that there was no call there, and this is the block. Great play there from David Cohen, who's not typically known for doing that. Down the other end of the floor. Omwas doesn't really foul. I think he goes straight up there. He's not trying to foul. He's just trying to make things difficult for Hamlet there, which he's done. But the foul's called.
Definitely a tough call there. But great defense that's led to a decent offense for the Newcastle Eagles. Taking a play out of the Caledonia playbook.
Well, Cohn, by the way, that's only his third block of the season. And they get some points on the board at the other end as a result of turning that defense into some offense.
Saving them all for the end, Dan. We've got Cohn blocking shots, David Slow blocking shots. Little guards trying to get in the block of the week category.
Muscling in on you guys, actually.
That's it. Know your role. Play in your lane.
Anachara, he blocked a shot or two in his time, didn't he?
He did. Yeah, he did.
Down low. Halihodzic, again, just a simple hook.
Perfect shot for him. Got his man sealed, 2 feet in the middle of the paint. Chuck it down to him. He's making that shot 9 out of 10 times.
They've had no answer for him whatsoever if they deceived him. He's been that constant, consistent source of offense they could go to down low.
Definitely a guy who stepped up and had some huge games as of late.
And here he is trying to steal the ball away. 5 on the shot clock.
.213 remaining on the third.
Gordon under pressure off the mark. Just 2 points in the third quarter for the man who had 20 in the first half. Oh, that's off the foot, isn't it? Yes, it is. Of Hamlet.
Wrong sport.
Again? Well, the shot clock reset because Newcastle got the ball, so they had to send it back down to 19 where it was. Of course, for a football violation, it would normally reset to 14, but it doesn't go down if it was above that. Halihodzic this time backing down Gordon. Well, a rare miss from Farrow.
Excellent box out there from Darius Defoe. You saw him move out. How Derby was looking to grab an offensive rebound there.
Here's Defoe. Kicks across to Gordon. Gordon hopping his way through the lane and unable to convert.
Looked a little unorthodox that shot, but he did the hard part. He sort of advanced past the defender, but just couldn't finish. And just like that, Al Durham, upper end of the floor, before the defense has fully got time to set up, he's attacking. Gets hit a couple times here on that trip to the basket.
He definitely did. I think he earned that trip to the line on that one.
But again, they've got 4 people back, and he's still gone through the middle of the defense and drawn a foul.
And that's the thing I talked about earlier. When you have a team that plays fast break basketball, yes, you do got to get back to the paint, but you've got to stop the ball. You've got to make that ball handler stand up, slow down the pace at the origin, and that'll help everything else slow down. When a guy can get a full head of steam coming from, half court, 3/4 court, it's much harder to stop.
Well, Newcastle fighting for their playoff lives. They will not be out tonight with defeat, assuming that things don't change at Leicester, where at halftime Leicester lead Plymouth 56-33. Given Leicester have won their last 41, 42 games against Plymouth, I would be surprised if that turned around. But Newcastle's playoff hopes will rely on them going unbeaten away from home, something they haven't really shown any signs of doing. They've won 2 away games all season, both at Surrey, and they'll have to win their last 3 to have an outside chance. Gordon! Oh! And he went over the top of Onwas. A foul has been called.
Goodness me, Justin Gordon took flight. And we've seen him. Onwas does just enough to put him off for the turn of that body. And he almost gets the lucky bounce.
Well, he went full Air Gordon here, didn't he? He had the pose and everything.
Well, as far as misses go, Dan, that's a good-looking miss.
Yep. That's a miss you put on your highlight reel.
It is indeed. Yeah.
And what a night Justin Gordon's having. 20 points in that first half. A little bit quiet here in this third quarter, but a play like that, even though he misses it, can definitely spark you and give you a lot more energy going down the stretch. Air Gordon, well done, Dan. Well
I can't claim that. I've heard that. I've heard that.
Dan's going to get sued for copying.
I am, yeah. Well, he at least gets a point for his troubles there. He's trying to get two. They're still hanging about, Newcastle. As much as we say it feels like Caledonia are on top, it feels like it's easier for the Gladiators. It's a 7-point ball game.
In your home court as well. If you can keep it close down late.
Oh, that's not going to help. Durham with the and-one.
Beautiful.
Goodness.
How tricky is he? Durham able to find a way around the taller defender, Kennedy. Great finish and an and-one. But like you said, Dan, like this is not an easy place to play. Last home game of the season. These guys are going to be fired up for this. A must-win situation.
And this one will virtually guarantee Caledonia the top four because of their head-to-head situation. They also, their last three games are all at home against Surrey, Newcastle again, and then London on the final game for them of the season. So the top four is pretty much a lock for Caledonia, but it will be just about secure tonight if they can stay ahead. Durham to Ali Hodzic. Durham with the rebound, nearly put it back. It's down court, but too late for Justin Gordon. Well, there are 10 minutes left here in Newcastle. 10 minutes remaining in Newcastle's home campaign. They're trying desperately to fight for one more game in this building, but things are not going their way right now. They need to win the fourth quarter. We'll be back with that right after this. Back to Newcastle, 10 massive minutes for the Eagles. They need to win this quarter, and they need to win it by 9 or more. Mockford turning the corner, getting all the way to the basket.
Good aggressive move from Ben Mockford, and his reputation as being a shooter has created that first step there and give him enough space to slide his way through there to the rim.
Hodzic hooks another one in.
Good possession there to start off the corner for Ali Hodges. He's been solid all game, throwing it down, finding him in his sweet spot.
Hamlet off the mark, gets his own rebound. Kennedy fires up the 3. Front iron, French this time with the offensive board. Needs to go up, he traveled with it.
Oh, and that's a frustrating play there from Hamlet, especially after 2 offensive boards. You gave yourself 2 more opportunities to get a good shot off, and not able to get it done.
Scrappy, they still have the ball, 5 on the shot clock. Bunyan unleashes a 3, and it's short. Hamlet. Gordon steps into the 3, and he knocks it down. 27 now for Justin Gordon.
There wasn't a great offense there, lack of movement, but David Hamlet again, because he's such a threat, the defense have to pay attention to him, which gives his teammate Gordon a little bit more space to knock it down. Another big shot from Gordon.
Well, his best in the BBL was 28 against the Giants back in December 2020. Here's Ali Hodzic off the mark.
This is the opportunity here now for the Eagles, and they can capitalize on this, make things interesting.
And they do. It's a 2-point game, and for the first time tonight, Gareth Murray having to call the hold to play and talk to his team.
And it's Javian Hamlet, their leading scorer, the guy that's been putting points on the board all season. 21 points personal for him, and a big shot.
Big-time players step up in big-time situations, and the leading scorer for this Newcastle Eagles team has stepped up right at the right moment.
And I don't want to bring us back down to earth, guys, but the Newcastle Eagles, they've lost 10 games by 5 points or less. So close games is not something that they've been accustomed to be able to achieve. And here they are at 8-24. You know, if they even win like half of those 10 games, it brings them up to 13 and 19, and they're safely in the playoffs. So, you know, close games has not been kind to the Newcastle Eagles so far this season.
Well, the other thing about Caledonia, I was saying top 4 is almost guaranteed for them. The way the other results are going, they could guarantee it tonight, because Sheffield are beating Manchester 64-57 late in the third quarter there. And Bristol are beating Cheshire 83-69. And again, that's late in the fourth quarter there. They would both drop to 17 defeats. Sheffield already on 17 defeats. And that would be basically that, if my maths is right, because they have all the head-to-heads.
When is your maths ever wrong, Dan?
Occasionally. When it is, I hear about it.
I love it when he turns it over. That's a turnover at Dan Rutledge as well.
Log into Twitter.
Doing it on the fly doesn't help. Here's Bailey. Cross court to Malcolm. Short on the 3, and Newcastle can level the game here with 7 to play.
A big defensive possession there by the Newcastle Eagles, and an even bigger offensive possession in hand.
But it's a good contest, isn't it? The urgency is so much better there. You know, that split second sharper just to contest shots and make sure you're in the correct position.
We are tied at 66 arena. Newcastle Eagles have come all the way back from a 15-point hole. Sloan is fouled.
Good play by Sloan there. Taking control of the ball, putting himself in a one-on-one situation, and trying to use his speed and ball handling, forcing Cone into a foul. The old Sloan and Cone matchup, eh?
Sloan and Cone show. We got the title, if nothing else, is appealing.
I think they should start a podcast.
Caledonia get us back underway here. Level at 66. Oh, is that on French? That's his third. He's done well, actually, after those 2 early fouls.
Yeah. Oh, it's not really much of a foul either. And I don't know, Dan, as well. You say he's done well, not to pick up fouls, but I'm sure that's taken away from his game. We haven't seen him weak side block, shot blocking, and he's such an explosive player. Oh, stolen away by Kevin Franzler. Mockford, the 3, Newcastle in front. And just right there, the Eagles got the ball in the hands of Ben Mockford, stepping into that 3-point shot, and they take the lead.
The volume has gone up again. Cries of defense echoing around the arena. Durham silences them.
He's been that guy, isn't he? All game. That thorn in the side of the Eagles. 22 points personal now for Al Durham.
Hamlet. Back out to Cohen. Mockford again. Oh! Mockford! All string back to back!
And this is the type of player. He can change games. He can shoot a team into a lead, and he's doing just that now. And you've got to think Ben Mockford is someone they've had to play with through significant periods of this season through injury. And on his return here, able to open this game up. 10 points personal for the GB International.
Wow, what a turn of events here. At the end of that third quarter, we were all acting like this game was over, and all of a sudden this Newcastle Eagles team has come alive.
And the atmosphere in this place.
It's rocking. Shot clock getting low again. Sloan finding a tiny inch of room. Rebound from Ali Hodgich. Bailey gets it away and strings the 3.
Second chance opportunities. Big offensive rebound there. And Jeremiah Bailey.
Cone ended up on the floor. Sloan didn't seem too sympathetic to him. And then there were some words exchanged between Sloan and Mockford. Let's see if we can see what happens. There's Sloan in the middle. Ooh. Well, that... You can see how he ended up on the floor.
Wow.
Well, Sloan is lucky there isn't video replay, because he'd be out of the game if there was.
Yeah. No doubt in my mind he would be ejected. It just seemed to come from nowhere as well.
Well, the referees, did they see enough of it to make a decision is the question, and this is where video replay, they could come over and just have a look at these monitors right in front. We've already seen what's happened. They're trying to work out what happened. Just seems mad that they haven't got the help.
Why don't you go over there and speak to him, Mike?
From previous experience, I don't believe the refs like me.
No one outside the Sharks organization likes you.
Oh, man. Well, that's just plain mean.
I like you. I'm just kidding.
All right, good.
Sometimes.
That's all that matters.
Well, Sloan has got a pushing foul, and both Sloan and Mockford have got technical fouls. So they called Sloan for a push, which was probably more egregious than that. And then they've given a technical to Mockford and Sloan for the chatter. And Mockford, I think, just said my bad on that, because he did have a few words to say after that. Oh, no, I think he's now realised that it is on him.
I don't agree with the call on Mockford there. I believe he was just standing up for his teammate. Sloan, obviously, excessive push there. Not what you want to see, but this is a high-pressure game for both teams. You know, these are situations where tempers flare.
So his combination, he just turns around and pushes him to the ground. It's a minimum unsportsmanlike. It's probably a disqualifying foul.
I think so. Excessive is what comes to mind there, and you know, rightfully so. Ben Mockford is the teammate, is sticking up for his guy on the floor.
Well, will it fire the Eagles up a little bit more? Gordon in the corner. Got another three. Justin Gordon, his BBL career high, 32 points.
And what a night to have a career night when your team needs a win. The team's back's against the wall, and Justin Gordon has delivered.
Bailey, he's just going to try and keep sucking the air out of this building, isn't he?
Some big plays there from Jeremiah Bailey, and that's the problem. Caledonia, they're going to keep sticking around, and in a close game, you know, Caledonia have come up top more than the Eagles have this year.
Well, Bailey has a double-double, 11 and 10 after that score. Last few seconds of the shot clock. Hamlet out to Mockford, has to heave it. Not this time. French almost gets a hand on that. There's a foul on Hamlet. And the fast break won't count.
An excellent foul because Caledonia were just about to score the basket.
It's only a second. He did get a thumbs up from his coach as well for that.
I'm sure he did. That was an excellent foul. Caledonia were just about to lay that ball in.
.49 to go. Newcastle in the lead as they need to be. Durham trying to find Ali Hodge. It's a tough pass.
That's an excellent defensive set there by the Eagles. And let me tell you why. David Cohen denied David Sloan the ball the whole time. The screen was given there. David Cohen got away, got tight to his defender, didn't let David Sloan catch the ball, which disrupted the whole offense there for the Gladiators.
Gordon going to work again, trying to get it to French. Kicked out. That's going to be a blocking foul on Durham, I think. It's before the shot, so it'll be an end-line ball. Well, you can feel the tension in the place, can't you? Because Newcastle fans were up screaming for a flop, which is, I don't think you can call a flop on a block, by the way, but everything is being contested. Mockford, again late in the shot clock. He looks to attack to the finger roll, and he will go to the line.
Smart play there from Ben Mockford. He knew he wasn't going to be able to get off a three-point shot. So instead, that quick first step of his creates a little bit of a lane there. And you can see the bump there from Bailey.
Makes the burst. Good news for Mike Tuck. The Sharks have beaten the Giants 80-71. Bristol have beaten Cheshire 87-73. So Caledonia, if they can find a way to win, will book a top 4 spot. But at the minute, it's Newcastle who are on top. 77-73 with 3 to go. Slow to the rim, blocked by French. Ali Hodges blocked by French, but a foul is called, and that's going to be number 4 on French. He just needs to calm himself there. His reaction, they can't afford to lose him.
A great initial block there, and the second one, I think he's got another block as well, and 2 in a row, and you can see them frustrations mount up. I think when you make these defensive plays where you're putting your body on the line and an universal whistle comes in, it's very frustrating as a player. But I'm glad he didn't pick up a technical there. Referee gave him an opportunity to display his emotion, and that was the end of it.
Well, Ali Hodges misses the first free throw. It was a foul, it was a good one. He's missed them both. Well, there's a chance here for Newcastle to give themselves a little bit of breathing room. Here's Gordon coming back door. Durham on the help puts him off. And there's a technical, is there? Justin Gordon must have protested. He thought he was fouled. He must have said something to the referee because he's been called for a technical, and it will be a free throw for... Here is another look. He's cutting back door. Durham coming from the other side.
He's got hit on the arm. There's contact. It's not a lot, but there's contact. And Justin Gordon, you can see, protested. Picks up the technical. And yeah, these are these little minute things you cannot do in a close game. You cannot do it.
You can feel his frustration there. You go up, it's a big moment in the game, you feel it hit on the arm, you don't get the call, but the worst thing you can do is turn and scream at the ref, especially when you're in a tight situation like this, under 3 minutes left, and your team has a history of giving up games within 4 or 5 points.
Well, that technical has turned a 2-possession game into a 1-possession game. Durham now for the Gladiators. Here's Durham again, looking to attack. Blocked by French! That will be a Newcastle ball!
Wow. French stepping up big down the line. Rim protecting, nothing easy in the paint. Great job by the big fella.
And that's what he's got brought in to do. It's really hard for him to do that while he's tiptoeing around, being in foul trouble, but now he can express himself. Another big block from French.
Cone under pressure, trying to get out of the double team. French down to 4 on the shot clock. Hamlet spins it up. Oh, 2 Eagles get in each other's way, and Caledonia come down with it. Sloan in the open court. Decides to wait. Inside the final 2. Durham spinning. Knocked away by Hamlet, who's called for the foul. And that will be 2 free throws.
Wow. The intensity. Every single play now making a meaning so much more. Here's the play before the swipe down. Difficult one to call just because there seemed to be a lot on the ball there, but you don't know how much hand is involved with that as well. The swipe down always puts the onus on the referee. Be really careful with that, especially in these stages of the game. Now Durham is a guy that's been so focused throughout.
Well, he's not been here long, but that ties his BBL career high. 1.5 to play. Newcastle by 1. They must win. They must hang on here. Here's Gordon. On to French! Two-handed hammer down.
Excellent decision there from Gordon, the extra pass, which leads to French's monstrous dunk, which almost takes the roof off the Virtue Motors Arena.
Ali Hodges! Offensive foul called! Well, the whole building held its collective breath when the whistle went as they waited for the signal. Now, his feet might be inside the no charge circle, but because he's not going up for a shot, that doesn't count. It can be an offensive foul inside the no charge circle if he's not going up for a shot. He's just going along the baseline.
Another heroic defensive play there from French, putting his body on the line this time. These are the plays that win you basketball games.
Well, what Newcastle would give for a score here with a minute to go. Absolutely dramatic night here on Tyneside. Well, Gordon's hit the deck. It sort of stopped everything for a second. Hamlet under pressure. He's going to have to shoot. No, it's Rockford for three. Oh! Ben Rockford does it again.
Incredible. Ben Rockford shot clock winding down. And again, he pops up with a big shot.
I think there's a timeout called. Everything is going on. I think there was a timeout called. Then nobody heard the buzzer. Newcastle going mad because they wanted a foul on Cohen, but actually none of that happened. It was a timeout on the score, but it was so loud in the building, nobody heard the buzzer.
Dan, the noise is deafening in here. Again, there's been a number of occasions now where the whistle has gone and I haven't heard it. And neither is anyone else in the building.
Well, David Cohen took a massive shot in a screen. Whether it was legal or not, I couldn't see, but it wouldn't have counted either way. It still hurts as he goes into the huddle. But what an important 44.1 seconds for the Newcastle Eagles.
Oh, that hurts a lot less when you win the basketball game as well, Dan.
It's a screen. All the Newcastle players and fans are up screaming for a foul, but what nobody heard was the clock wasn't ticking because Gareth Murray had already called a timeout.
Well, Bailey sort of gets a free hit there on Cohen. But as I say, that shot won't hurt Cohen too much if he wins this basketball game. And the Newcastle Eagles have certainly carved themselves an opportunity to do just that.
Well, Gordon has had an epic game for his team. 61% for 32 points. They're potentially one stop away here, Newcastle. Up 6, one stop with 44 seconds might be all they need. Durham for three, misses. Offensive rebound, no, Hamlet gets there. Newcastle get the stop. But it's a kickball, Ali Hodges had the steal, but he had it by illegal means.
It was a strange decision to shoot the shot so early, and it was such an off-balance contested shot as well. Oh, there's the kickball. Good call from the referee.
It's a good spot through the bodies, wasn't it?
Really good call. But yeah, an odd decision to shoot the ball so quickly in such a difficult shot.
Well, Ben Mockford is still in the backcourt. It's an awkward spot to inbound the ball, really, right in front of us, but he gets it in okay. Oh, Sloan seems to have nudged Cohen out of the way once again. And there's a bit of chatter between them. I don't think they will be starting that podcast anytime soon.
Yeah, they've got that Gary Neville and Carragher thing about them, haven't they?
Yeah, there is a bit. Well, the signal there, I think it must have been Bailey rather than... Cohen who got called for that foul. And the referee's just going, it was a signal of 34 to the table, which was the slightly confusing bit, because there isn't the 34 on the Caledonia side. I think it's Durham, 42. I think the foul. It doesn't matter that, because Hamlet's made the first free throw. That's the important bit. And he's made both of them, and surely Newcastle are on the brink here. Sloan with the transition three. Who did that touch last? It came off Hamlet. It will be a Caledonia ball. 24.3. Well, Newcastle just need to play sensible defense here. Try and make it as many ticks as possible off the clock before they get to shoot. Sloan gets it away. He misses everything. It's up in the air. Mockford has it. Oh, but it's swiped away to Bailey.
It's a lifeline here for Caledonia.
And that's going to be a foul on Durham. And all of them around us up for an unsportsmanlike foul. I don't think it was.
I think I just heard someone shout red card.
It's close enough to the ball in that sort of position that it's just a regular foul, but it's 2 free throws, and at 6 points with 13.86 seconds, 1 is enough here. Wow, what a gutsy display from the Newcastle Eagles. Down 15 in the first half. Even when they were only down 8 or 9 in the third quarter, they didn't look like winning. But what a turnaround here in the fourth quarter. That is point number 30 of this period for them. Wow. Sloan for 3, rims out. Newcastle will rebound it. Bailey with an unnecessary foul knocking it away. And there's a bit of chatter again. Well, there is a fair old distance between Glasgow and Newcastle, but this is a rivalry that has been always pretty tasty. I mean, in the old Kieran Achara days, Newcastle used to win every time they played, but in the more recent years, it's been a little more of an even fight.
Dan, is there any way we can get these two matched up in the playoffs?
It's going to take something pretty spectacular, but it could happen. Only in the final, I think. Only in the final. Hamlet makes them both, and that will do it. Well, it was must win for the Newcastle Eagles, and it was win for the Newcastle Eagles. A 32-14 fourth quarter for Mark Stuckel's team, and those playoff opportunities are still alive. They've work to do, but they're still alive.
They were down and out, Dan. They were down and out, but they found a way to not only get back into this ball game, but steal it and snatch advantages down the end. This guy right there in shot, Ben Mockford, what a sharpshooter. His ability to shoot the basketball without range was able to propel this team over that hump and give them the confidence over the line. I thought Hamlin was excellent down the stretch, and Justin Gordon, 20 points at halftime, 32 points for the game. He was that MVP that Newcastle Eagles have needed.
Well, as you say, there were multiple different guys who did things at different times, and that will be the most pleasing thing for Coach Stuckel and the coaching staff, he and Gary Stronach, and they applaud the fans, and their fans applaud back. And boy, they had to work hard for it, but they got it done. And all that matters at the end is that they've won the game. How you get there doesn't matter. That you did it is the most important thing. Here are the numbers, and you can see Caledonia shooting better inside the arc, but Newcastle, the threes from Mockford really propelled them in the second half.
They did, and I think when you see the ball drop as well, you just notice the urgency on the defensive end. It was that tad bit sharper, that tad bit more reactive, and that's what made things more difficult for Caledonia, who were getting some really easy shots in the first 3 quarters of this game.
and only 6 turnovers for Newcastle. We talked about how well Caledonia get out and run. They looked after the ball well enough, and they were able to find the life in the fourth quarter with 32 big points, 32 of their 88 points in the fourth quarter to be able to win this. Well, our MVP with his BBL career high, he had 32 himself. Justin Gordon is with mine.
Justin, a must-win situation, and your team showed up. Your initial reactions to the game?
You know, it's just a hard-fought win. Came and battled back in the second half, especially in the fourth. We put together some stops. You know, we had spells of that in the first half, but we just put it all together in the fourth.
32 points for you, a career game high in the BBL. Talk about your performance tonight.
You know, just come in and felt all right in the first half, being aggressive, came out in rhythm, and my teammates gave me some good looks for sure.
And obviously Caledonia really got out in that first half, but there was a turning point in that fourth quarter around the 7-minute mark. What changed for you guys there?
You know, we just stopped getting stops and stopped communicating on defense and getting back in transition. Once we limited their transition points, which was based off of our shot selection on offense, and once we got that done, we took care of business.
How much of a fire does this light under you guys for the rest of the season and to clinch that 8th spot in the playoff race?
You know, as much as we need, we gotta come out and take care of business every game, be aggressive, be confident, and trust in our teammates.
And a quick word on these Newcastle fans here tonight, a sold-out crowd. This place was rocking.
Oh, man, they always bring the energy. It's been the same night in, win, loss. Every time we're dependent on that 6th Eagle, and they came out and supported us for sure.
Justin, congrats on the win.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what a win and what a performance from our MVP, Justin Gordon. 32 points in 33 minutes. Kieran, it's his 3rd spell at the club, and this is the Justin Gordon we used to see.
This is the Justin Gordon that Newcastle Eagles needs. You know, he's shooting the ball with confidence, attacking the basket, tip dunks. Yes, Justin Gordon of old.
At halftime, we talked about the need for some of his key teammates to step up and support him, and that was very much the narrative offensively in the second half. He was doing it all on his own in the first 2 quarters, but Javion Hamlet, Ben Mockford, who we'll see in a moment, of course, they were players that, when they were counted on, stepped up and brought it.
They definitely stepped up, but again, I'll go back to my point. 14 points they held the Gladiators to in the fourth quarter. They ramped up their defence. Cohn was denying the ball handler. They're pressing. French was getting block shots. That's what they need to get over the edge. If they want to be able to compete, they're going to have to play at both ends of the court.
Well, they certainly did play at both ends of the court in that fourth quarter. 14 points, as Kieran said, they held the Gladiators to in the final period. And offensively, what a fourth quarter it was. 32 points. And Javion Hamlet was filling his boots in the second half, full stop. He had a quiet first half, just 4 points, but he hit 21 in the second half. It was a big-time show from him, and he's been doing it, Kieran, all season long.
All season long. You know, that's consistent. You know he's going to get to the rack. He's shooting the ball a little bit better, gets to the free throw line. But yeah, he just, again, another player, you know he can get hot in a minute.
What a comeback. They pulled back an 8-point deficit at the half, which makes it an 18-point swing. Let's talk about the atmosphere in here, because it was hyped up all the way along. The fans didn't stop believing. It was a feisty encounter, and the guys were talking in commentary, of course, about the rivalry and the history with this fixture. Do you think that played into Newcastle's hands, the fact it got quite feisty?
I think Newcastle literally just stepped up and understood how important this game was to them, and the Gladiators didn't respond. You know, when Eagles threw a punch in that second half, the Gladiators didn't have enough oomph to try and get them to compete. But it's always been a bogey team for the Gladiators, like I said, the Rocks. And it shows, you know, when you're playing against the Eagles in an Eagles environment in a must-win game, they usually deliver.
Speaking of punches, this was an absolute sucker punch from Ben Mockford. This is our play of the day, but he had back-to-back threes, and of course 3 critical threes in total, and it was a seminal changing point in the game, wasn't it?
Yeah, massive changing. You know, he made that one, got the lead, makes the next one, you know, got really comfortable. This one, you know, pulled the lead, stretched him, confidence was building, and then the dagger 3 here, boom goes the dynamite, as they say. That was the game. And, you know, just retired from GB, a great send-off after a week. You know, I know the emotions will be running high, but great to see him step up when he was needed.
And that was crucial when we talk about this surrounding cast around Justin Gordon. Mockford had been really quiet in the first half. He hits those, changes the trajectory of the game. 15 points for him. That was crucial.
Crucial, and like I said, did everything. Played defence, got in the passing lanes, made big shots, you know, stepped up when he was needed.
He certainly did, and that will certainly please his head coach, Mark Stutel. The Eagles still alive as far as the playoff race is concerned. Let's hear from him now. He's with Mike.
Coach, a must-win situation. Your guys stood up. You got to be happy with that.
Yeah, pleased with the outcome. You know, pleased with the resilience in the group. I get to work with these guys every day, and I know there's some toughness and some resolve in the group. And really pleased defensively. In the fourth quarter in particular, but the last 20 minutes, I thought Sloan was going in the third, and we found a way, I thought, to be really disruptive. And then when we're playing that way and we're getting stops, we had 3 knockouts in the fourth quarter, 3 consecutive stops 3 times. We're able to get out in transition, and we have some weapons in the open floor. So really pleased with how we ground one out. We'll probably exhale for a few minutes, but the job's not done. We've got to keep building and got to keep believing over these last 3 games.
Yeah, these last 3 games. Let's talk about those. How much momentum does this guys give you into this playoff push right now?
Yeah, we hope a lot. We understand that that's the last time in the regular season that we get to play, in the best venue in the BBL. These guys literally willed us to victory, and we're so fortunate to play at home. We've got to go and show the same level of urgency over the next 3 games on the road, and a mammoth test on Sunday, go into the copper box. But I think, again, when we are the best version of ourselves over longer periods, we have a chance against anybody in this league.
2 of those guys helping you will yourself to the win tonight. Obviously, Justin Gordon, Hamlet, big performances from them. Talk about their performances.
Yeah, I think we found a way to able to utilise them being in rhythm, and I think at times we were able to play off their matchups, and then Ben was really assertive down the stretch too because of the attention that they drew from Caledonia. So, but look, I mean, offensively, that's everybody. We should be able to share the ball and try and attack at certain times, but holding them to 14 points, I think, is where my focus is. Look, defensively, we were really, really solid, really disruptive, tempo, finish plays, and that allowed those guys to get going offensively.
Before the game, you talked about the difficulties of this season. How big of a learning experience has this season been for you?
Yeah, I mean, I've coached for a long time. It's my first time coaching the BBL, of course, but I've been around the British game 15, 20 years, and every single opportunity I have, I learn. So, I've learned a lot, like I would do in any situation, and I hope that we're able to, can keep building over the next 3 regular season games. We are desperate to play in the postseason, and then, at the end of the season, we'll try and do a review and move forward next year.
And a difficult season overall, but these fans have remained so loyal to you. Talk about the energy and the atmosphere in here tonight.
Yeah, anybody who knows me knows that I'm not usually lost for words, but I think when it comes to describing our fans, I struggle to kind of give them enough positives, enough credit. They blow us away every week. I mean, it's electric in here. The guys love playing. I think it's the best venue in the BBL, the best fans in the BBL. These guys come out here every week and leave it out on the line. And, I've been really, really purposeful in telling our guys when we play that way, we give them something to shout about. So, yeah, awesome. We want to bring success back here for the fans. I'm really, really pleased that, that's the last regular season game tonight. We hope to see them back here for a playoff game if we keep building over the next 3 games.
Coach, congrats on the win.
Thank you.
It means so much to him. And as he said in the interview with Mike, he's a very experienced coach, but this is his first year in the BBL. It is bound to be a learning curve. Back to the question I asked you near the top. Given this kind of fight, this kind of performance, it makes a huge amount of sense for the organisation to back him and give him time to get it right.
Yeah, and when you're backing, you talk about learning from your mistakes. You have to ask those questions. What have you learned? What will you do differently? And I'm sure there's a lot he would do differently, and it's nice that he's reflecting on that. He's self-aware, and he's got the confidence to still continue and make these changes to get Eagles back to winning ways.
Well, I guess the Newcastle Eagles could take a close look at Caledonia over the last couple of years and how they stuck with Gareth Murray, and they backed Gareth Murray. And that absolutely paid off, of course, with the Gladiators' first silverware in 20 years, the trophy a little bit earlier on this season. Not their night, but they are playoff bound, and they're going to be a dangerous proposition. And this guy is going to be at the forefront of their playoff bid. Al Durham, red hot coming into this game, and he carried on where he's been leaving off.
Again, another player that plays with such composure. When he's shooting the ball, he puts up 20+ points. But he can always get to the basket, gets to the free throw line. He's a I'll say that time and time again, he's a great pickup for the Caledonia Gladiators.
He was hitting deep threes as well, wasn't he? I mean, he was just on point, in poise.
Yes, deep threes, attacking the basket, get to the free throw line. He's a player you can call upon to make big shots.
Well, the Gladiators will be very much in the mix. Yeah, looking to be one of those teams that could go deep as far as the playoffs are concerned. They came into this game full of confidence. They'll go into the postseason the same way. So Gareth Murray, I'm sure, will put this defeat in perspective. Let's get his take. He's with Mike.
Coach, obviously a frustrating loss for you guys. Built up a good lead at half, but then gave it away in the second half. Where did it go wrong?
The game plan worked until it didn't work, right? They went 1 for 7 in the first half. The game plan was working. We didn't expect Gordon and Hamlet to go 6 or 7 in the second half. When Ben Markford gets going, you know it's difficult for him to stop him. They hit some threes. It's not like their game, so they made shots tonight, and we kind of dried up in the fourth quarter, and they got that lead and got that confidence behind them.
And obviously, you're a team that leads the league in fast break points. You play at an extremely fast pace. Do you feel like fatigue came back to bite you down the stretch in the second half?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we couldn't get stops, right? They're making threes. It's difficult for us to get on the run when they're making shots, and that's kind of our bread and butter. We get stops and we run. We want to get quick shots down the other end. But yeah, fatigue definitely set in. We've got 3 guys playing 4 positions, so it's a struggle right now with our 2 5-men being out as well, and Fado playing those big minutes. But we're trying to get ready for the playoffs, get ready for get our confidence back, and go with some momentum.
You feel like a game like this helps you get ready for the playoffs, and especially when you have to see this team again later on in the regular season?
Yeah, we see them on Thursday again, so we'll get back to Glasgow. We play Surrey on Sunday, so we'll prepare for that. But we know Newcastle coming to our house, and our record speaks for itself, 13-2 at home. So we'll be coming out fighting again.
That one will definitely be circled on the calendar. Coach, sure. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Now, one other key incident I want to get into and get your perspective on was something that certainly, we're talking about the feisty atmosphere in here, certainly hyped up the crowd and then some, was the David Sloan incident. With this guy right here behind us. Maybe we'll get his perspective on it. Let's bring him in. He's got to sign some autographs first, but maybe we'll get his take. Let's take a look at it first of all. So talk us through. The officials didn't see it, obviously, which is why Sloan stayed on the court. Should he have done?
He definitely should have gone. If the referees had caught that, saw that, he would have definitely been gone. It was one of those things. It's quite an intense affair. He reacted way too dangerously, and yeah, he should have gone on that one.
How important is video replay to bring into the BBL?
I think it's something they have to definitely consider. There was a few calls down the stretch there, a few bad calls down the stretch there that I'm sure if they went back and looked at over the video and had the evidence that we had, the calls would have went different ways.
Yeah, okay. Well, it was a situation that didn't go down well with the crowd, but it didn't matter because the Eagles got their win, and crucially for them and their playoff bid, the Patriots didn't. Blown away by Leicester. The Riders turn up 111-68 the final there. Bristol keep the momentum going in terms of their race with Leicester, their battle with the Riders for the number 2 seed. 87-73 the final over Cheshire. Mike Tuck will be a happy man because his Sharks have beaten the Giants. Both teams, of course, locked in as far as the playoffs are concerned. But an important win for confidence as the Sharks roll in to the postseason. So this is the table as it stands right now. The Lions, obviously, champions. Leicester and Bristol will be slugging it out for that second spot. Caledonia, despite the defeat, in 4th. The Sharks improved to 34 points. That's the same as both Cheshire and Manchester. So it is so tight and bunched up down there. But of course, all eyes on that last and crucial 8th playoff spot. Newcastle gaining ground on the Plymouth City Patriots with 3 games to play. You heard Coach Stupel talk about the tough trip to London on Sunday. But of course, London, having played in Europe, had a brilliant performance they put in terms of their European campaign this season, we should say, are certainly putting on the miles on the clock. So it's a good opportunity for Newcastle to capitalise on that. Then they play Caledonia again. Second game, of course, in a couple of weeks. And look at that, wrapping the season up against Plymouth. The Patriots have the Phoenix, the Lions too, and then that final game, which could well be a play-in game as far as the playoffs are concerned. Confirmation of this weekend's other fixtures then. That Lions-Eagles game on Sunday, Plymouth-Cheshire, Caledonia-Surrey, and Manchester-Leicester. We have one more Friday night game for you in the regular season, and it is the current champs, the exiting champs, the Leicester Riders, who will be looking to lay it down in the playoffs and get their hands on some silverware this season, taking on the Sharks in Leicester next Friday, 7:30 Sky Sports action for a 7:45 tip. But that is all from us here in Newcastle. What a terrific atmosphere. Did we expect anything less? And what a big win for these deserving fans. Can Newcastle pull off Mission Impossible? Well, they're taking a big step forward towards that tonight. We'll see you next Friday. Bye for now.